Hello, and welcome to our video audio podcast, Couched in Color. I'm your mental health expert, teen and young adult crusader, and psychological scientist, Dr. Alfiee. This podcast reflects my life's work, helping our young people and young at heart identify mental health challenges, disrupt negative patterns, and discover the best versions of themselves. I'm so happy that you've joined us. For over 20 years, I want you to know that I've had my finger on the pulse of BIPOC teen mental health. I recognize that historically and currently, with these dual pandemics of COVID and racial injustice raging, our young people are suffering, sometimes they're struggling, and always the care that they need is quite scarce. So each week, I'm joined by young people, mental health experts, celebrities, and influencers to help us uncover the secrets to healing the hearts and minds of our BIPOC teens, their families, and their communities. Here at Couched in Color, we believe deeply in spreading love and light, bolstered by culturally relevant science. So let's dive in. Welcome, everyone. I am here with two young people who I've just basically adopted. Like, they have a mama, they got parents, they don't need me, but I just adore them. They are so amazing. Our whole relationship has all been social media, which is fine with me. But I think I met them on Twitter, and they are just two of the most fabulous young people you would ever want to meet. So, ladies and gentlemen, all our viewers and our listeners, I want you to meet Charlie and Hannah Lucas, who are the creators and the innovators behind the NotOK app. Yay! I'm so happy to have them on. I'm so glad they're here. So I just want to talk a little bit with these young people. But the first thing I'd like them to do, for those of you who've been under a rock and don't know who they are, I want them to introduce themselves and tell us a little bit about the NotOK app. So Charlie and Hannah, please take it away.
Gotcha. Well, hello everyone. My name is Hannah Lucas. I am going to turn 19 next week, so let's just say I'm 19. And I am the co-creator of the NotOK app.
Hi guys, I'm Charlie. I'm 16 and I'm the other co-creator of the notOkay app. And essentially, the notOkay app is a digital panic button that, when pressed, it sends a text message to your pre-selected up to 5 closest contacts with your current GPS location and directions.
Yep, and I created the idea for the notOkay app after being diagnosed with a chronic illness called POTS. Stands for postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome. Basically, just caused me to pass out. Because of that, I was bullied, threatened, and sexually harassed really, really badly. And I spiraled into depression and anxiety. And it got to the point where I was self-harming and struggling with eating disorders until one night I couldn't handle the pressure and I had a suicide attempt. But luckily, my mom saved my life that night. And that's when I knew I needed a tool that I could not only use for my chronic illness, but my mental illness as well.
Well, that is just amazing. And one of the things that you talked about, Hannah, you just have been very open about what your own personal experience is. So can you and Charlie talk to me a little bit about, as teenagers, right? Basically 19 and 16. Probably by the time this comes out, you will be 19. So we just going to say 19. But as 19 and 16, and then being kids of color, I'm just really curious about what made you be so open in talking about this.
Honestly, I just got fed up. I'm going to be really, really honest. After my suicide attempt, it was really difficult to break the barrier in my family when it came to talking about mental health. I started going to therapy, and then my therapist recommended that all of us should go to family therapy, and we did, but it was still really difficult to break down those barriers, especially in a Black family, to break down those barriers to talking about mental health and getting help. And I saw everyone being fake in family therapy the first few sessions, and I was so sick of it. I was like, I could have died, and no one's really taking this seriously. So I just got so fed up about it, not only with my family, but in society. No one was talking about mental health. You get on Instagram, everyone is like so picture perfect, and oh my god, my life is so fabulous, look at me, I don't have any bad days, it's always sunny. Right. And I'm like, that's not the truth. Right. And I just got so sick and tired of everyone being so fake all the time.
That's a big deal. And it's so true that in so many of our families, particularly for those of us who are Black, identify as Black people, I don't care where you come from, if it's Black Caribbean, Black African, or like I identify myself as African American, like a descendant of the people who were brought over here in chains. And so whatever your background as a Black, even Black Latinos, whatever your background as a Black person, I just feel like there's so much pressure on us in general. Like we deal with racism and discrimination and homophobia and transphobia and all of that stuff as a foundation. Undergirding all of that is trying to navigate all these identities and be a Black person at the same time. And so it just feels like there's so much pressure that you being willing to be so open about your own experience and being open about what it's like for families, right? Because a lot of Black families, we don't talk about this stuff. So I wonder, Charlie, do you have any things you want to add to that? Like just your thoughts in general about the stigma of mental illness and being a young Black person and all that kind of good stuff, how it impacts you.
No, I just completely agree with everything you guys said. And I'm also going to add on, especially because Black communities tend to be super religious. And that's especially something that we dealt with when Hannah was coming out about her mental health and I was coming out about my mental health. It was my dad was trying to pray it away instead of actually going to therapy and actually seeking solutions. You can't just pray something away and expect it to go away. You also have to act on it. And the Black community also tends to demonize it, which is super dangerous when someone's trying to ask for help.
Yeah, I definitely agree with my brother, but to be honest, I feel like it goes a little farther than just the religion aspect.
Okay.
You know, because my brother and I, we grew up in a primarily white area. Growing up in elementary school, there were like 3 Black kids in the entire elementary school, and my brother and I were 2 of them. So it was like, are you serious? So growing up in that space, our parents always told us, me primarily because I'm not only Black, but I'm also a woman. So they were like, you're Black and a woman. You have to try 50 times as hard in order to be seen as half as good. And just hearing that always from such a young age, having that engraved into the fabric of my identity, I had to be the strong Black woman. I had to be Black excellence. I had to be excellent so that I could be accepted in that society. And I think that just goes really far because we're not allowed to show any imperfections. You know, even with our hair can't be anything less than perfect, but you see our Caucasian counterparts and they show up however way they look, you know, and that's fine for them, but it's just, there's a different standard. And I think that because of that different standard and the higher standard we as a community hold ourselves to, it's frustrating because it doesn't allow for any flaws. It doesn't allow for any vulnerability.
That is so, everything you said, and it's a shame because we're in the 2020s, and even being in the 2020s, you're talking about things that I dealt with in the 80s. Right? Growing up in a very similar environment. I've shared this many times before. I had a colleague, actually a friend I grew up with, who's now a professional colleague, on a couple of weeks ago. And we both grew up in Virginia Beach, Virginia. And Virginia Beach was one of those places where when we were in elementary school, I would venture a guess to say there maybe were 15 or 20 Black kids in the whole school, and my brother and I were 2 of them. Do you know what I mean? So like, so I definitely can relate to that. And I'm curious from both of you. I've been thinking about this as a parent, 2 things. One thing I'm wondering about, and it's not to vilify Black parents, it's just to ask the question. When we as parents, I think this will be educational for a lot of listeners. When we as parents who are Black or of color move into areas where there are not a lot of Black folks, and we put our kids in schools where there are not a lot of Black folks, I'm wondering, what is that like for you kids? Like, is that, I'm just curious because that's been our experience. We're in a part of Northern Virginia that is very white. It's like divided. It's almost, there's this highway that rides through the middle of town called Highway 50. And all the white folks and the affluence is on the north side, and on the south side, it's almost all Black African, Somalian, Eritrean, Ethiopian immigrants and Latinos, right, from Central and South America. That's like the whole, but that side of town has less resources. You know what I'm saying? So it's like affluence and whiteness and people of color, primarily immigrant families who don't have a lot of resources.
Exactly.
So when you
and
move
then
here,
the wider schools are considered the better school districts
Just
because
they
they have more resources.
Yeah.
Mhm.
yep. So what is, I mean, like if you had to say something to teenagers who are growing, it's a lot of kids out here growing up like that.
Yeah.
What kinds of things would you say to them as it relates to taking care of their mental health? Like what are can you pinpoint, how does that kind of stuff impact a young person's mental health? It's like you're the only one in the school or you're the only one in the class.
Honestly, it impacts way more than mental health. It impacts your identity. It confuses your identity. You know, for so long, like, I didn't know, like, I didn't have an identity in being a Black woman. Because my dad, he was so ashamed of his Blackness. Like, I wasn't allowed to wear my hair natural. Like, I always had to have a perm. I always had to have it straight. Like, if I got in trouble in school or I got in trouble at home, wearing my natural hair was a punishment.
Oh,
so
wow.
It's like, it goes so much further than just mental health. Like, it impacts the way you see yourself, your identity in you. And if I could tell anyone that's going through that, just God, there's so much. Just try to figure out who you are, and that's the most difficult thing in the world when you are surrounded by so many different influences. You know, your parents, your cultural background, and then going to a place where you're not understood as much, you know, where there are so many stereotypes of you and you have to be the one to break all of those stereotypes all at once. So just try to figure out who you are without those influences. And it's the most difficult thing in the world. Like, I couldn't even figure that out until once quarantine started. And I was away from all that.
Right.
You know, like, I'm just now coming into myself.
Right.
It's a mind trip. It really is.
And by the way, the hair, girl, my kids taught me a new thing. I don't know if it's a everybody word, but my son, he said it's on fleek. We say on fleek. Girl, the hair is on fleek. He says on fleek. So Miles, I'm shouting you out. It's on fleek, girl. It's gorgeous. Girl, people pay money to have hair to look like that. Do you hear me? To buy that hair. That hair is beautiful. So Charlie, I wondered, you are, girl, it's gorgeous. It just, like, every time I see it, it just gives me life. I saw like a Mohawk style one day, I think, and then there was the video with you with the puppy. I was like, oh, child, the hair. Come through, hair. Give me the hair. I just love it.
That makes me so happy.
Oh, yeah, it is gorgeous. And it really reflects who you are as a vibrant, beautiful, brilliant, like really caring young woman. It's just all in the hair. So I just, you got to know, we are all happy that the hair is natural and free flowing. It's really nice.
Me too.
So Charlie, how about as a young Black male, how about for you? What kind of things would you say for these young brothers out here, young men, or just like dealing with what it means to be Black and, you know, have your identity, your gender identity that you have, and like just be out here in the world? What would you say to our young brothers?
Don't be afraid of your emotions. Honestly, it's such a dumb thing that a lot of minority communities have, where we're not allowed to show our emotions, have emotions, or do anything like that. Like, our only emotions that we're allowed to have are happy and angry.
Yes.
Like,
not even anger now.
Like,
yes.
I've
see it as a threat.
Yeah, no, I've never been able to like frown in public because I thought I was gonna get shot.
Oh,
Like, legitimately. It's a fun little, but like, seriously though, you can't be afraid of your own emotions. I had to do that for a while because I literally didn't cry for 9 years. And I was like, for like 9 years, like straight, I did not cry once.
Oh.
Like, I mean, I cried once, but that's because I literally got my...
He didn't cry because of emotions.
It wasn't because of emotions, it was because I just got kicked by like a grown man. But like, it makes sense because I did like karate and stuff.
We got it. Yeah, please, honey, please make I'm like, woo, okay.
But like, seriously though, you can't be afraid of your own emotions. They're your emotions for a reason, and suppressing them does more harm than good. It literally doesn't help you in any way.
It can actually like affect your body too.
Yeah, holding your own emotions literally damages you.
Yes.
Mentally.
Oh my God. That is so important for you to say, and so important for our young men to hear, to not be afraid of their emotions or to not avoid their emotions, right? Because I think you're absolutely right. That's what guys are taught, right? Just suck it all up. And so I just feel like what you all are sharing is so educational and so beneficial for our young people. And it makes me think of the second question. So the second question was about the pressure. And I'm wondering when you hear, so my dad and I have this thing, we go back and forth about it. So my dad is much older. He's in his late 70s. And when he was growing up, they were taught the same thing that you all were about. And we were taught the same thing. You got to be 15 times as good to get half as far. And he had this thing where he said he heard, I can't remember some famous person say it, but when he heard it, he said, after that, I never said that to you kids again, because I think he said it was Dick Gregory, who's like really famous, like in the 60s and 70s, a civil rights activist, like an icon. And Dick Gregory said, stop telling Black kids that they have to be twice as good to get half as far, because that puts so much undue pressure on our young people, and we don't want to do that to our young people. So having heard you say that, Hannah, I'm wondering, just for you two, your personal opinion, is that pressure on you for people to say you got to be twice as good to get half as far? Do you think, nah, it's not a big deal?
Yeah, it definitely is a lot of pressure, especially to be telling this like 6, 7-year-old kids, because that's when you got the talk.
I got the talk as soon as I came out of the room. I don't know what she thought.
Yeah, because especially as we were saying, like we grew up in this really horrible area. Do you know Forsyth County?
Yeah,
That area
girl.
where
Oh,
Oprah
child,
was kicked out
yes.
of by the
Yes,
KKK?
yes,
The
yes, yes.
Yeah,
KKK.
no, I went
Ooh.
on.
It's not much better.
Yeah, I went to Spelman on a tour when I was a junior in high school, and they were asking everyone where they were from, and they got to me, and I was like, Forsyth County, and they were like, ooh, KKK County. And I was
Wow.
And they're like, Hannah, you can free the emancipation.
Ah!
Free man. You're free man.
I know, and then everyone on the tour was asking me.
You have to wait for Harriet.
Are you okay? They were checking in on you. Do you need help? Do you need to escape? Oh my gosh.
If my parents had a drinking problem, like if my parents decided to move here because they were drunk or something. And I'm like,
Oh my God. Wow. So we need to let parents know, stop telling kids you got to be twice as good to get half as far. Stop telling Black kids that.
Yeah, because it also puts on, especially if you're in a white area like we are, it feels like you have to be an entire representative for your race. That's what my parents told me too. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you're probably going to be one of the only Black kids that these kids ever meet. You have to represent your person.
You always have to be the first one to raise your hand.
Ooh.
You have to get every single question right. You have to be the teacher's pet, everything. But I don't know, I feel like that's a difficult question.
Okay.
Because I feel like parents shouldn't have to tell their kids, like it shouldn't be something that parents have to tell their kids.
But it is.
But it is, like, it's so true in today's life. Like, it is so true, and it's sad because it shouldn't be true.
Yeah.
You know, like, I shouldn't have to be 10 times as better in order to get half the reward. Like, it shouldn't happen, but it is so frustrating because that's the reality of the situation. That's the reality of our society, you know?
Yeah, if you don't tell those kids that and like say, hey, I'm sorry, this is really unfair, but you're going to be treated differently. If you don't actually prepare them for the reality, they're going to be blindsided completely when it happens to them for the first time.
But I feel like
they shouldn't have to.
I feel like you should tell your kids and be like, this is what society expects of you, but create a safe space at home for them to be nurtured. Because that's so important, because Black kids don't get a chance to be kids.
Nope.
We have never, ever, ever gotten a chance to be kids. You know, like, and it is so sad because we literally have to censor our maturity at such a young age.
Yes.
So I think creating a safe space for those children to just be loved on and nurtured and rewarded, you know, see the effort that they put into all the work that they're doing. Even if they don't make the best grades, look at them studying and reward them for all the studying that they put into it.
I'd love, go ahead, Charlie. Were you going to add something? I love that.
Oh yeah, no, I was just going to agree with Hannah and just be like, yeah, we did have our immaturity stripped away from us at a young age. We were basically soldiers put into battle. Just like as soon as we went into school, like literally I got called the N-word the first time in like first grade. Like
we still
first grade.
Exactly.
Like
no one knew like the weight of that word.
Yeah,
Ugh.
and people
We're
still
never
don't
taught
care.
the weight of that word either in school.
Yeah, like,
It's so
But you feel it. So you learn it when you feel it. When somebody says it and you know how
yeah.
bad you feel, it's kind of like, oh, this is what this is like.
Just
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
It's just
Exactly.
at the
Exactly.
end of the day, no matter what I do, that's what you see.
How people see.
yeah.
Yes. Yes. So I wonder if a way to help young people reframe, and y'all are young people, so you tell me how you would feel if an adult said this to you. If an adult said to you, taking on what you said, Hannah, sweetheart, this is what people in the world are going to do to you, but in this house, you are perfect just like you are. In this
Yes.
house,
I would
you.
probably start crying.
That's my thing. Like, I want young people, it makes me want to cry too. I want young people to know when you're Black, everything that you all said is 100% true. People will treat you horribly, but we want all of you to have, and I think that's part of what NotOkay app is. We want everybody to have at least one place in their life where they can just be, right? It's like being a fish in water. If a fish is out of water, it's struggling, unless it's a different kind of fish. But if it's a fish and it's in water, that's home. Right. So all it really needs is the water and it just swims. And that's what I want for young people, especially our young people of color, especially our young Black kids, particularly thinking about this year. And, you know, I hope that you all will carry that with you everywhere. Just who you are is enough. Right. I put it on my Instagram page today and it got such a positive response because we take for granted and assume, I think a lot of us assume that people, especially young people, already know this, and you don't. Because you don't hear it enough, right? You don't have enough people in your lives telling you, like your mom is a rock star. She knows, I think she's just an angel. She's a beautiful lady. She really is, inside and out. And I know she loves you too. And I think that you get that love. There's so many kids out here who, once they get out of the house, there's just all this stuff coming at them.
Yeah.
Or like you said, Han, like social media, child, all that stuff is, so much of it is fake. There's some people who are real, like you two, but there's so much of it that's just like put on and airs and not real. And so what I always want to do with my social media is always try to like uplift everybody else, right? Because I have people in my life who uplift me. And that's what I think you all do with the NotOkay app, is you find a way to create the space for young people to just be enough. Like you can just pull out that phone, tap a button and reach somebody. You don't have to go through a whole lot of effort. And hopefully the people that you have programmed in there is making you think, right? It's like, okay, who needs to be in here? Those are my, right? And they need to be my safe people. So you're really forcing people to think about, where are the spaces in your life where you have people who make you feel safe and who make you feel loved. And I just think that is wonderful. So if like you two hear me say nothing else, that's all right. Mom was doing it too. But I did the same thing.
Kingsley.
It's all right. It's all right, because we're all in the house right now. And you heard mine earlier. But if you hear me say nothing else, I want you to hear me say that the two of you and all the teenagers who can hear this, you are valuable for no other reason than because you exist, period. As my son said, period, poo.
That's on period.
Right. So I'm wondering, one thing I want to talk about real quickly, a space that I was able to participate in with you all that really made me feel all of that. And that was the virtual prom.
Yeah.
That was the most awesome. I love that. I just loved it. So can you tell the listeners and the viewers, I know it's past, but I'm just so excited about that, a little bit about the virtual prom, where it came from, and just give us some insight into how was it for you to do it and what kind of response did you get from young people?
Of course. Do you want to tell them what the virtual prom was?
So the virtual prom was, so how it happened.
Okay.
Hannah's basically like,
leave it to your brother. Leave it to your brother.
She's just like, I'm not gonna get it prom. I'm not gonna get a prom. And I'm like, shut up, you're being annoying.
That's okay.
You were gonna rig it like you did last time. But
I was.
Shut up, Hannah. I'm talking. I'm speaking. But no. She was so she was crying because she didn't get a prom, and I'm like, oh my god, what happens if we did a virtual prom? And she's like, that'd be so fun. Oh no, I was messing around with her, and I'm like, your prom's gonna be on Roblox.
And I'm
haha.
gonna be like, haha, no,
Yeah, I'm gonna have a real one. And I'm like, no, you're not. So basically, that became a joke until it actually happened, and
I had
her
a day
prom
warning.
got canceled.
Yeah.
So basically, what we did, yeah, her prom got completely canceled. It was supposed to be in like November, but then they shut up, Trooper.
It's okay. Go ahead. Go ahead. We'll pause for 1 second. It's no problem, baby.
You know, I love your blazer.
Oh, thank you, sweetie. Thank you. I appreciate it. I was worried about wearing it because I don't like to be like too overly formal. But thank you for the compliment. I appreciate that.
Why are you holding him?
I grabbed one.
That's all right. That's fine. Oh,
We're not gonna
go ahead.
Okay, so basically, Hannah's just like crying because she didn't get to have her prom, and she's like, and I'm like, your prom's gonna be on Roblox, and she's like, yeah, Kingsley. Okay, so basically, yeah, prom, Roblox, get it, and then it ended up actually getting canceled, right? So what Hannah did, and she's like, well, you know that virtual prom that you were talking about and joking about? And I'm like, yeah, it was a joke. Not this again, Hannah. We're not going to start another thing from a joke, Hannah. But that's what we ended up doing. We started something completely from a joke. And then, yeah, the virtual prom happened.
We started making some phone calls. One phone call led to another, and suddenly we were in touch with Ivy McGregor from Beyonce's Big Good Foundation.
Yes. Wow.
And then after a couple phone calls with her, we ended up in touch with Jack Dorsey.
From Twitter?
Exactly. Yeah.
Wow.
He donated $25,000 to these to our prom, and we're like, next thing you know, we had DJ Jazzy Jeff as our DJ.
He was awesome. He was awesome.
He was really good.
It was amazing. He DJ'd it so much better than any other DJ could have. Period.
I love Jazzy Jeff. I love him.
Right?
Yeah.
And so, like, next thing you know, we had $50,000 sitting in our bank account, and we gave it all away to high school students for COVID relief, because we saw so many. All the adults were getting stimulus checks and everything, but the teenagers, they were losing their high school experience, and I know that adults probably don't think much of it, but to high schoolers, we grew up watching these Disney movies who glorify the high school experience. So of course we mourn over it. So we just wanted to show the high schools that they were valued in this difficult time.
Wow, that's incredible. That is incredible. One of the things that I remember about the virtual prom was just how excited all the kids were. And I stayed for the whole thing. It was just, that was around the time when everybody was doing D-Nice was doing his, every Friday and Saturday night. And so for me, I was already in that spirit. And then you all did the prom and you had DJ Jazzy Jeff. And yeah, it was just, I really enjoyed it. I think I put on a little bit of makeup, and I was like, I'm gonna put a gown on. Then I was like, nah, I'm too lazy. So I just I didn't do all that. So, but I was there the whole time, and I can't tell you how proud. I know your mom was proud, but I can't tell you how proud I was as a Black mom watching these two Black kids do this for this rainbow of children, right? It was all kinds of kids who were on that. And so I just commend y'all. It was, and the kids dressed up. Some of the kids were dressed up in their prom gear. I enjoyed it. So I'm just really happy that the NotOK app and the two of you were able to sponsor something like that, and that you got so much support. And I think what it says to young people is that if you have a vision and if you have a thought for something and you just put a little bit of work in, you can come out with something amazing. Oh, there's our friend.
Is that being loud?
Is he a doodle?
Yeah, he's a golden doodle.
Yeah, mine's a doodle too. He's cute. Is he a puppy?
He is a puppy.
Yeah. Oh, how old is he? He got a mohawk.
6 months. He does have a mohawk.
That is hilarious. That dog got a mohawk. I love it.
Yep.
I love it. Okay, so the last thing I wanted to ask about is going into 2021. I'm curious if the two of you have any hopes or dreams, or I'm not talking about New Year's resolutions because, that's not a thing. Yeah. But hopes, dreams, or wishes for yourselves or any other kinds of wishes. And hopefully one of the things you tie into there will be for mental health, and maybe throw in something about the NotOK app. So what would you say for 2021? What are you looking forward to? What are you hoping for? I'm hoping to meet this little puppy. Oh my God. So cute. That's a big dog.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to lay back down, baby. I'm really looking forward to our third birthday for NotOK. I'm so excited for it, like legit. It's gonna be so much fun.
Yeah.
And we hope for you to be there. Also, we're thinking about rebooting the We Are Well prom for May this year.
Please.
How COVID turns out. Yeah.
Yes.
If COVID is gone, we don't need it. We don't need it.
Right.
We won't be needing it.
Right.
But if COVID is still here, we will be using it again because it's an amazing medium, and it's just an amazing thing to have.
Yeah.
Yes. Awesome.
Yeah. And we are planning on launching our big update for the notOkay app January 31st, to celebrate our 3-year anniversary. We're going to release our update, and the update will allow the app to be available in Canada and the UK. So we are so thrilled.
Y'all global.
Yes,
oh my God.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
I'm just so humbled and just grateful that we're going to be able to launch in Canada and the UK 2021. And I'm also looking forward to the inauguration, and I hope that turns out all well. Oh.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Well, I just want to say thank you so much, Charlie and Hannah Lucas. Y'all are just superstars in my eyes, and your mom, and she's just an amazing lady. And I know that you all kids, you teenagers, I know you take care of yourselves and like you're your own people, but I think it's also important to acknowledge these parents when parents are out here, like building their kids up and uplifting them. And so I want to shout out your mama, Robin, too, because she's an amazing lady. And then the last thing I want to ask you, this is the last thing I promise. Where can people find more information about the NotOkay app? And are there any socials that you want to share with them, just in general, NotOkay app or otherwise?
You can find our information at www.notokayapp.com, and all of our socials are literally just NotOkay app because we claim them really fast.
Good job. So thank you both so much. I am just so pleased that I had the opportunity to talk with, let me say it one final time for everybody, Charlie and Hannah Lucas, the creators of the NotOkay app, and two all around rock star young people, teenagers. In my book, you all need to pay attention to these young people because they're going to continue to be successful, and we're going to see them doing all kinds of amazing things above and beyond all the amazing things that they've already done. We're looking forward to the new launch of the app updates, and what y'all know me, Auntie Alfiee, whatever you need me to do for you two kids, I am there, right? I am there. So thank you so much, and take care. So there you have it. That's a wrap for another episode of Couched in Color. We want you to know that we deeply value you, all of our viewers and our listeners, and everyone out there working to support optimal mental health, both for themselves and for our young people. And one of the best ways you can help our movement is by leaving us a 5-star review on our YouTube channel and everywhere you enjoy your audio podcasts, and by sharing our podcast with a friend. Please also tag us while you're out there listening and watching. Finally, head on over to dralfiee.com for more information about me, www.acomaproject.org for information about my nonprofit, and those are the places you can go to learn more about how you can help. So I'll see you next week. And until then, I'm going to say what I always say, which is that I'm wishing you lots of love, lots of light, and that I'm hoping it is always, always informed by good, culturally relevant science. Take care.